Play Painted Live. I am trying out this new setting, so let me show to Twitter only, and let's say live streaming now. Alright, and we'll share that to Twitter. Okay, and I know you guys are getting a great view of my arm right now. So we'll close that. Okay, so you're getting a view of my arm. Like I said, we're just gonna test this stream. I've got to open up comments, and so now I have a different way of doing that. I'm actually gonna go to my channel. Actually, I think it's Creator Studio. If I go Creator Studio, now the cool thing is I can totally do this without having to share my little laptop screen. So once I set up here, like I have, I can push my laptop back a little bit and use more of the real estate for painting. And I can go to live streaming. If it will let me. There we go. There should be a... There we go. There's that. Let's watch. View on the watch page. All right, and it's already muted. That's great. So now I can view comments up on the larger monitor, and we can just see the viewership from there. So if you are watching in the live chat, please say something, say hi or whatever. I want to see how my audio is coming in. Hey Tori, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the new setup here. So yeah, let me know how the audio is doing. Let me know how the video is doing. Again, we're going to play around with this setup a bit because this is a totally new thing. You can see in the little top right of your screen there, the little picture-in-picture, so you get a larger view of what I'm doing. I don't know if that's going to stay. Thanks for typing in the chat, Tori. Really appreciate that. So we can, yeah. Again, the idea here is that we want to see the quality of the stream, the quality of the video, the quality of the audio. Right now, what I would say is the thing I'm struggling with is the lighting. It's not quite up to spec as far as I'm concerned. It seems a little dull. I'm watching it on YouTube. It doesn't look terrible, but I think we can do better than that, folks. And maybe because of the connection that I now have, maybe we can increase the quality of the stream. Okay, so we're not going to do a whole lot of painting tonight because, frankly, if I'm being totally honest with you, that truffles, the last live stream I did, that's literally the last thing I picked up brush to and painted miniature wise. Now I've been painting, believe it or not, I've been painting the past 2.5, 3 weeks or whatever, but I've been painting a house. I have not been painting miniatures, and I have I got in a little bit of gaming about a week ago, but for the most part my focus right now has been the house and getting us back to this stage where I can stream is kind of a landmark or kind of a milestone within that process, because the priority really is getting the house up to speed. Okay, so we're not going to do a whole lot of painting tonight. In fact, it's going to be more Q&A stuff. There's not a whole lot left to do with him, but let's do something that I've been doing recently when I paint individuals. And I can pretty much only do this when I'm painting individuals for games that I play. I can go ahead and talk about the stats and the fluff of the model. So Sulla is an Arena Rex character. Here's the artwork for Sulla. Pretty cool, kind of an aged, looks like a Roman centurion, an older gentleman. I love the artwork for Arena Rex, by the way, just fantastic. Sulla, and let's read his fluff here. A hero of the empire, Titus Cornelius Sulla has always served Rome faithfully, rising to prominence quickly by showing a genius for timing assaults and for the construction of novel formation maneuvers in the heat of battle. Sulla retains an unblemished record in war. The proconsul has refused only one imperial command in his life, the command to retire. When the loss of his sword arm barred him from traditional service, the old man simply trained his shield arm to do twice the work. Continuing service to the empire, Sulla commands the Legio 13 in advanced formation tactics. So pretty cool fluff here for Sulla. It's part of the Legio 13 faction for Arena Rex. Yeah, so that was his fluff. Let's have a look at his stats here. So let's talk, for those of you who follow Arena Rex. Now, Arena Rex is a game that you guys, from longtime followers of the stream, know that I was raving about this game ever since the Kickstarter. Been a big fan of the game. Never really stopped playing it. It's just kind of, fallen in and out of rotation at times. Fantastic game. But anyways, so here's the stats on Sulla. He has a move of 5. That's about average, maybe even on the little bit on the slower side, not too bad. Attack 6 is good. Defense 1, that's not so good. And then arm 2, yeah, it's okay. Alright, so let's look at his attack tree. So good damage early in his attack tree. You got a reposition over here. If you go down this way, this side looks like you've got some pushes. That's going to give you his special ability. That's going to give you the, what's it called? I forget the name of it. It's been so long since I played Arena Rex. Favor, there you go. So you've got favor coming down this side, you got damage coming down this side in a reposition. This is the longer side of the tree, but you can see, better damage potential on that side. So far, not terribly impressive stats. The damage is at least consistent, and you have access to favor on 3 successes. That's not terrible. And then here's the hitboxes. So 11 hitboxes. That's not great, but that's decent. And then he has these rules: dictate, veteran, and tactician, exploit. Let's see what that amounts to. So dictate costs 1 fatigue. This model's controller may activate the exploit or maneuver tactic at no favor cost. The target of this tactic must be another model within 5 inches of this model. So it's cool, kind of a support piece there. Veteran, while defending, this model may reroll unsuccessful dice once. This ability has no effect during a counterattack reaction. That's important to know, because I was going to say, like, the first thing I was going to think is that I can use veteran as part of a counterattack, and that would be pretty sweet. However, with the defense only 1, veteran's not that great of a rule. I mean, it helps a little bit, but not fantastic. And then tactician, while this model is in play, its controller gains access to the following tactic. Exploit. Tactic 1, cost 1 favor. A friendly gladiator model resolves a push against an enemy model within its engagement range. This tactic may only be used once per clear turn or activation. So here's a pretty interesting thing. So you can actually push a model off of Sulla, or you can actually have gain the exploit tactic from another model within 5 inches of this model. So anyway, he's an interesting model. Kind of, it seems like more of a control piece for Legio 13. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying him out, and we'll just see how it goes. His art is you might think it's kind of boring. I mean, even his pose is pretty straightforward. I mean, there's really nothing there. just kind of standing still. He did have two heads. He has an unhelmeted head. I went with the helmeted head. I just think it looks cooler. You know, if I'm going to paint a Centurion. Here's his like withered arm there. Now, I did really only the most minor painting on this, including the airbrush work and a little bit of the undercoating. That's why he looks really dull. So most of what we're going to do tonight is we're going to highlight. We're going to run highlights on Sulla, and we're going to paint in his base, and that's going to pretty much take up our evening tonight. And you know, in the meantime, we can talk about current events. We can talk about any kind of topics you guys are interested in talking about. So if you have any questions or anything, any comments, let us know in the chat section. And then also, as always, if you are working on something, let us know what you're working on, or let us know what you should be working on. Okay? So, yeah, lighting here is going to be interesting. I'm not a fan. I actually need, what I probably need here is I need a third clip light. Now, I could run a third clip light this way, and that might actually help. I would have to set it up right now, and frankly, I don't have the ability to do that right now. So we're just gonna paint. We're just gonna paint like we normally would. You guys can tell me if this is working out for you. If not, it's, you know, it's a work in progress, folks. We're gonna keep trying to make this feed better for you. So there we go. Here's how he's looking so far, and we're gonna highlight him up. So I'm gonna start with the armor, and we're gonna give him kind of a brass look to his armor. So I'm gonna go with heavy ochre here, and we're just gonna start by highlighting there. Brand new wet palette, look at that, so nice. What I should do actually is have the overhead cam on the wet palette. And I can't do that right now, because I'd have to disconnect the camera, swap it to the other side of me, and then swap it back. That's not going to do so well. All right, so let's start here. I am using a wet palette, so I'm not thinning as much as you might normally expect me to thin. And we're just gonna I need that light higher. Hold on. There you go. There you go. Okay. So I don't want to do too much of this. This color is sort of bright. So I'm just going to kind of feather it in areas where the light's really shining down on the model. You want Medusa. I actually have the Medusa model. I haven't painted it yet. I'll have to turn that into a future feed. Arena Rex is sort of seeing a little bit of a rebirth here in Southern California. Recently, a group up in LA has decided to pick up the game, and Phil and I and some of our other friends have been playing this game for some time. We never really thought that you know, after the first few months of just us being the only people we knew that backed the Kickstarter, we didn't think it was really going to go much anywhere. But you know, the repackaging of the starter sets, the new sculpts, and Red Republic's resurgence in terms of their media presence has drawn more attention over to this game. And I think that's a really good thing. So you can see I'm not really doing a whole lot to this model, just kind of bringing in a little bit of a gold tinge with how thin this paint is. It's just going to be very, very minor. It's not designed to scream at you. It's just going to be really minor. It is, I gotta admit, it is nice to be able to sit down here and finally, I mean, after all the work, be able to get in some actual painting. I think my wife was especially aware of the fact that I wanted to do a feed, because she's just been really grateful, like, throughout this process of moving. You know, there was a lot of work involved from both of us, and she wanted to recognize how much work had been going on, and she wanted me to, you know, kind of start enjoying the benefits of this new place. But yeah, what's cool about this new place is that the internet is much better. This space here for hobby and gaming, I feel, got better. And so, you know, with the second kid on the way, it might be much more difficult for me to run public events the way I used to. But, you know, at least during off hours and stuff, I could do content more like this. I could do painting content, and then I'd like to do some playing content too as well. So I'd like to do some more battles of Arena Rex. Relic Knights is such a big deal right now for me. Like, the fact that they announced the Relic Knights version 2.0 with a mini Kickstarter, I'm pretty damn hype about that. And I know that might sound a little weird because, you know, granted, their first Kickstarter that they did for Relic Knights was somewhat disappointing, if I'm being honest with you. A lot of people were waiting for some time for the Kickstarter to launch, and when it finally started to ship, you know, people didn't feel that the quality of the models was really there. I think with the switch to resin and Ninja Division's commitment to trying to really bring that game to life, I'm pretty optimistic, despite the bad experience. I mean, you have to consider that since they split with the original co-publisher of Relic Knights, which is Cool Mini or Not, they've actually been doing better on deliverance of their Kickstarters. You know, like Super Dungeon Explorer Forgotten King was a big one. Like, they really started to change in my book upon delivery of that particular Kickstarter. That was where, you know, that was one of the best experiences I had with Kickstarter, was that particular one. And I don't know, it really just started to get me back. Alright, so you can see I really haven't done anything yet. The next step, pretty simple. We're just gonna do a straight white, and we're gonna just do a really, really tiny, like, laser beam white on the model, unlike the sharpest edges of this model. I'm gonna move my wet palette over so that we can just really just kind of concentrate on the model itself. So there's that. You know, still want to play more Guild Ball. Still a big fan of Guild Ball. Relic Knights and Guild Ball, I'd say, are still my two favorite games. And I'm really excited to see, you know, what the respective manufacturers are doing with each of those games, because I think I think Steamforged Games is doing a great job with Guild Ball, and I'd have to say that Ninja Division is really kind of turning it around with their latest approach to their product catalog. And also, you know, just recognizing their fans, I think, is a big part of this too. So I'm going to just do a little bit of white along the edges of the blade here. You know, give it a little bit of a lighting effect. Overall, the model still looks a little bit dull, but, you know, fix that. I'm going to make his armor pop a little bit more with this super sharp white highlight. Arena Rex, to me, is, I think it really shines when you treat it as a tactical short game, right? I think with the model count and the way the mechanics work in this game, that your best bet is to play it multiplayer, in my opinion, and play short games. Play like games of less than an hour, because that will help keep the game really, really fresh. And they're short, tactical, fun experiences. Do I feel that way about most skirmish games? I do. I think the sweet spot for a skirmish game is if you can get a skirmish game, get in a reasonably good tactical game within the space of an hour. I think that's a huge win for a skirmish game. Greenleaf Terrain. Play it unpainted. Don't even build the minis. Just move compacts around the table. And lager boxes with pics of the models on them. Done and done. Man, what a disgrace, Adam. Why? Why, dude? Anyway, welcome to the feed. Yeah. So yeah, this game, it's a boutique game. The miniatures are super high quality, and it's a big part of the experience. And that seems weird for me to say that about a miniatures game, because in my opinion, painting the miniatures and having really nice high quality miniatures should always be part of the miniature gaming experience. I mean, that's my personal preaching there, but that's how I feel about miniature games. That's why I play miniature games. And I think a lot of people get into miniature games under the same premise, at least at first, is these are really cool looking pieces. I would love to have something really nice that I can play tactical or strategic games with and really kind of enjoy that whole experience. I think most miniature gamers walk into the hobby with that expectation. You know, they see pictures in White Dwarf, they see pictures on online of these fully painted, high quality looking minis, armies, that kind of thing, and they say, I want that. And of course they want that. I mean, that's we all said, I want that. The difference, I think, is, you know, in understanding what you want, and then understanding, but realizing what you're really capable or interested in doing. You know, and let me elaborate on that. And I saw a video the other day that I actually favorited. I forget the name of the channel. It's a very small miniature gaming channel on YouTube. And he was talking about the 40K experience. The 40K experience as a miniature game. I know what you're about to say. Okay, I'm going to pick on 40K here for a minute. This is not really a criticism of Games Workshop or anything. This is just what I I'm just going to call this an observation about 40K and the allure of a larger scale miniature game like 40K. So from the perspective of, a person first getting into miniature gaming, they're going to look at some individual pieces and go, man, that's a really cool piece, right? Oh, that's really cool. Then they're going to, flip further into the magazine or go further into the website or Google some more images. And at some point, they're going to see a studio army or, a hardcore veteran that painted up, 12,000 points of Alpha Legion or something like that, right? They're going to see this whole army on the table. They're going to see two whole armies, like, say, Alpha Legion versus, Tau, right? They're going to see a picture of that. And in their mind, they're going to think, okay, that's totally what I want to do. That's what I want to do with this whole miniature gaming thing. And I'm going to work to make that a reality. And it's a cool thing to want, right? Because we all did this. When we looked at the pictures of 40K fully painted armies, we were like, yeah, I'm totally going to do that. But most of us, almost all of us, didn't really realize what's involved in getting you there, how much time it's going to take, how much skill you're going to have to learn, how much experience you'll have to get to, let's be honest here, to get to like half of that standard, to get to my generic tabletop standard, right? It takes a little bit of time. Some people pick it up faster than others. Some people are just better than others. But you get what I'm saying. It takes time. And after a while, people are going to start to lose patience. And they're going to start to... and they may lose interest as they lose patience. And when they start to lose interest and they start to lose patience, then it becomes, well, let's settle for the next best thing. Let's paint up a couple of them, and let's build the whole army. And we want to play this Saturday because we were that excited about the game. So then let's start playing with unpainted stuff. So now you have a Space Marine army where you tried out a couple techniques on one Space Marine, that is, and you might have attempted to paint the commander, and you super weren't happy with that because you had these huge expectations. Then you built the rest of your army and just kind of slapped it together because you were running out of time. You wanted to do other stuff. And then Saturday rolls around and you're playing this army. You're playing this unpainted army. And, if you like the game, you're going to continue to explore the game. But instead of jumping back into hobby, your priority might be, okay, well, what else does my army need, right? Because maybe you lost the game or whatever. What do I need to add to my army to make it better? And before you know it, what I'm getting at is you're just going to end up really kind of giving up on the hobby aspect. You're going to, a lot of guys just end up being straight gamers because it's like, I don't have time to paint. I don't have time or money or desire to paint. And so then this hobby that drew them in visually, drew them in artistically, that's kind of failed them in a way, because expectations were set too high, and it just wasn't a realistic thing. I mean, if I had my way, here's me with the thought patrol, right? So you guys can call me on this bullshit as much as like. But if I had my way and we could control how all people get introduced to miniatures games, the way I would do it would be I would start with, a game like X-Wing, for example. X-Wing's a fantastic gateway game. They don't need to learn how to paint. What they're learning is they learn how to maneuver pieces without a board. They start learning list building, and they have miniatures. They have pre-painted stuff that they can appreciate. But then I noticed a lot of X-Wing guys, after a while, they want to take their fleet up a notch, right? They want to increase their customization on their fleet. So in addition to just taking the right pilot cards and the right upgrade cards, now they're starting to paint battle damage on their little X-Wings. They're starting to mess around with washes. They're starting to mess around with highlighting OSL, for the blasters and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a great gateway. And then from X-Wing, I still wouldn't take them over to GW. I would take them over to these skirmish games. I would take them over to, like a game like Arena Rex or Guild Ball, or even Relic Knights. Although Relic Knights is a really different animal, I still would, because now that they've painted a little bit of their X-Wing things, now you can tell them, okay, X-Wing this game is actually cheaper than X-Wing, and you have these pieces, and now let's start to paint stuff that I think a lot of people will enjoy painting, and that is, humanoid looking pieces. Painting faces, painting swords, battle damage, fur, cloaks. When you play skirmish games, particularly skirmish games that have a lot of individual characters, you'll start to appreciate the aesthetics a lot more. The characters will mean something to you. And wanting to paint them, and being somewhat able to do that, like being able to finish your army in the space of a week, if you actually, if you're a new painter and you kind of duck your head down and go for it, that's feasible. Now, is it great? Is it going to be high quality stuff? No, of course not. It's your first stuff, your first painted stuff. But the satisfaction of finishing, say, a 6-man Guild Ball team, or a 10-man Malifaux crew, or anything like that, the satisfaction of actually taking something from start to finish, in my opinion, is so much more gratifying than doing this uphill, I'm going to paint, 3,000 points of orcs eventually type thing. Am I making sense to you guys? But what I'm saying is, those goals around skirmish games they're much more feasible. They're much more realistic. They're within reach of the average enthusiast. Whereas full army painting is not. Full army painting takes a long time. That's not to say that we don't see fully painted armies in larger scale games. In fact, we see tons of them. Tons and tons of them. The difference is, like, with 40K, for example, I was watching a guy who painted relatively fast, trying to paint his Space Marine army. He was, he had like 3,000 points of Space Marines. And, it's taken him months to do that. And that's not unreasonable. It's not, I don't think it's an unreasonable thing to think, like, if I'm painting a fantasy army, not that there's fantasy anymore, but if I'm painting a larger scale Kings of War army or anything like that, that's going to take me months. And I'm going to be tweaking and playing and all this stuff in between. And so you might not ever get the completionist satisfaction out of a larger scale game as opposed to a skirmish game. Now, is that bad? I don't know. I think overall it might be bad for getting people into the hobby side of things, because once you get into that mindset where you're totally okay playing unpainted stuff, and painting is going to go from being an interest to being something that you don't have time for, to almost something that you loathe. And I've run into this a lot with veteran miniature gamers, that they actually, once they give up painting, they really start to loathe the idea of painting. And in fact, I've seen guys that even come through and start to discourage, like actively discourage new people from trying painting, because it's like, why bother trying to paint, buddy? Welcome to the hobby. Why bother trying to paint? It's just going to take you forever, and you're never going to finish anything. And so that's why I think, the right transition games are important. And I think, when people are interested in larger scale war games, 40K, Kings of War, even War Machine these days, I think it's from a hobbyist standpoint, and if the person really is interested in painting, my suggestion would be, well, let's play this other cheaper game first, and let's finish painting this stuff. Now, Relic Knights, it's interesting because the old Restic model quality is not very good. It's almost like, go ahead and beat up these models and then break out the fine resin RK stuff and paint that. Let's see. Agree with that, although I would suggest Guild Ball over Arena Rex as the next step, just due to some of the model assembly challenges, i.e. feathers on Hermes. Oh man, don't even talk about the feathers on the models. Feathers on Hermes, feathers on, what's her name? Beatrix, a lot of the Ludus Magnus, a lot of those have really interesting feathers. So anyway, let's continue to highlight this red a little bit. I'm going to take this heavy ochre, actually, mix it in with some of the red, and get kind of a sienna color, and we'll highlight the yeah, Hermes is crazy too, though. His feathers, and with Hermes, it's actually a little worse in that, like, I don't know about you, but I'm tempted to pick him up by the feathers, and that kind of freaks me out. So I'm just gonna highlight this up. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, Guild Ball is the one ding on Guild Ball as a system, as a game, is that it is such a tight competitive system that if you're talking to a new miniatures game player who isn't competitive, like, is looking to kind of ease their way into a game like Guild Ball, that running into a hardcore Guild Ball player could be a fatal experience for somebody that is trying to get more into the miniature gaming hobby. So yeah, I would caution people, I suppose, that wanted to do that. So my Sulla is he's gonna be a little dull. I mean, his color schemes are somewhat darker. Man, is this too dark? Like, are you guys, I don't know how much of the actual detail you can make out on this. The worst for me is in regard to Tiet Kibi. There's nowhere but the base to grab that mini. Tiet Kibi is, I forget. I know it's one of the Morituri. Is she the one that's got the 2 daggers, or is she the one with the whip? I mean, both of those models kind of terrify me, and I've had to transport them in much larger cells than would normally be required because of their weird poses, because of the fact that, like, they're on their tippy toes. In the case of one of them, you have that metal whip. That thing's scary. So yeah, it's just, you can see I'm blending out the 2 daggers. Okay, yeah, Tia Kibi. Yeah, she's like on her tippy toes, and she's got a dagger in front of her and one behind. The number of times I've snapped those poor daggers, it's just horrifying. Arena Rex has so many beautiful models, but for a game that's using resin models, and you do a lot of repositioning in this game, you know, and your opponent's picking up your models and moving them a lot, kind of like Guild Ball. It's kind of scary to play with this really fiddly resin, you know, things like the sword blades and all that kind of stuff. You know, sadly, this model is almost done. I don't know. What do you want to talk about? We're going to talk about Colin Kaepernick? I don't know. Just because that's all anyone can seem to talk about right now? Stupid Colin Kaepernick, or, you know, election garbage. I don't even want to talk about that. I don't know. I would rather... You know, with Zara, I ended up wrapping the metal whip around her. I think I did the same thing, in fact. I don't remember. Yeah, it's just... This is the model. It's not... He's just got so many reds and browns. It's like... You can't even... I can't even get it... Get him to focus on the face. All right, let's work on the base a little bit. Okay, so Arena Rex, most of the bases I've seen, most of the base works I've seen are around sand, and they definitely look great on sand because it's, you know, it's the arena, right? I've been doing weirder things with my Arena Rex, so I actually put them on like marble looking bases. And not only that, I make the marble-looking base match their faction dice. So I kind of have a scheme for each one. For Legio 13, their major faction color is like a blue-gray. So that's what I'm going to do here. Blue-gray with a little bit of purple. And we're just going to do like a generic marble effect on them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, hey, I'm going to do like a, oh wow, it came, see, I don't even know what the hell this one does up here, this camera. I think eventually I'll turn it into a wet palette camera and it'll just focus in on my wet palette. But anyways, I'm going to mix this charcoal with some medium blue. So I'll take some medium blue, put about a drop of the charcoal in it. That was a little more than a drop. Let's see how the color works out. And then we'll mix this up here. There we go. So it's coming up with like a, yeah, definitely a blue-gray. It actually probably needs a little more blue if it's going to work properly. Because I need the blue to pop against the black-gray. I'll show you examples of what I've been doing with the basing for this game. That's about the right color right there. Okay, so I'm going for like a dark blue gray. Okay, and this this base is black gray, kind of like a graphite color. Then you're going to take, we're going to do a sponging technique. So we take a little bit of foam here, a little bit of foam sponge. This stuff seems a little dense. I like this stuff that comes in a lot of the blisters, like Eldorado blisters and that kind of stuff. Usually that little bit of foam in there. What you want is you want foam to have just a little bit of bits and ends to it. You're going to dip that in the color that you want, and then you're just going to start to dab that around. The mini. Here my little boy and his mom running around upstairs. This new house is fantastic. It's not, I mean, it's very, and I mean very similar to where we were, but there's just some perks that make it better for our growing family. Just better living space, you know? I feel like my wife and I were a little too cluttered, you know. We collected so much stuff, and here I am with like my large miniature collection. And I know I sound like a crazy, massive hypocrite, but like I had those 2 rooms, right? And the hobby room looked like a straight up hoarder's room. It just had the worst. It had boxes everywhere. It had crap everywhere. And, you know, even though I like to pride myself on saying, yeah, I paint the overwhelming majority of stuff that I buy, and I try not to buy too much if I haven't painted it. You know, even with all that, I'd have to say that you know, it's just not great, the situation we were in. It was almost like we were getting buried by our own stuff, and it was starting to drive me crazy. And I just kept thinking about, you know, the new baby on the way, and having my poor wife having to deal with you know, taking care of a newborn and a toddler in this house where you couldn't even walk in straight lines. There's just crud everywhere, just stuff everywhere. It had old carpet that the cats had barfed and puked and peed and all kinds of crap on. And I was like, you know, let's just get out of here. Let's start anew. And when we start anew, let's trim down on our stuff. Let's do what's important in the house. Not have the house be about stuff, but have it be about living spaces. You know, have it be about what are the family enjoying the majority of the living space, as opposed to using the space to store just more crap. Like you don't need that. Anyways, where did you buy Arena Rex stuff? Well, in my case, I backed the Kickstarter, so I have, you know, all my Kickstarter stuff. The only thing I really added was Medusa, which I bought online. So I haven't seen a store that carries Arena Rex on the shelf, but and I think most people just go online and buy from the online store. Now, Arena Rex stuff is pricey. The models are pricey because it's resin, and they're really, really high quality sculpts. So that's the unfortunate truth of jumping into the game, you know, post Kickstarter, is you're paying some pretty hefty pricing to get the stuff that you want. But anyway, back to the move. Like, so we started looking at places, right? And we wanted to stay in Orange County, obviously, because we both work here, and our babysitter's here. And I know that sounds weird that we would take her into account, but she really is fantastic. And when it comes to your kids, you really do end up valuing the people who have a track record of being trustworthy with your kids. And in her case, she's just, her and my son love each other, and they do really well. But anyway, so we were looking around Orange County, and we were trying to, we had our price ranges, we had pre-approval and all that stuff, and at first I thought we were going to get as far away from our local community as possible, get a little bit closer to my wife's work, but after doing a rather extensive search, we came to the conclusion that we just flat out really like it in this town. So that's why, it's part of the reason why we stayed. So anyway, so we found this place very close to our original place. I mean, I'm not even a mile from my original place, but the living space is better. Hardwood floors. Well, not hardwood floors. So a lot of it's pergo, some of it's hardwood, but no carpet is the key point. No carpet. Much better use of space. Like this room I'm in is gigantic. And so I can use this as my studio, both for painting and for playing. We the one thing that my wife really loves about this place is the view from here is phenomenal. We're on the other place. We thought we had the best view, like we thought we were at the top of the hill. No, this is the actual top of the hill. And so the view from here is just phenomenal. So that's like her favorite part. And I love that, when we committed to moving, when we made that commitment to moving, we started to I just started throwing stuff away and selling stuff and getting rid of stuff. Like over the course of this last summer, I would say I can comfortably say I got rid of about 40% of everything I own. So not just miniature stuff, but like things like clothes, things like furniture. Got rid of at least 40% of everything I own. And it's such a fantastic feeling. It's so great to be able to do that and say that. Because it just simplifies your life. You cut down to what you're really using, what's really important to you, and yeah, it's great. Wow, lots of chat. It plays with how many models aside? It's like David O'Connell's got it locked 5 on average. It does vary between 3 to 5, 3 to about 8, but 5 is the average. The way the system works, some of the larger models count as 2. Yes, if it's like a 40 mil model, it counts as 2. Now, the way I like to play this game is I play this as a really superficial game because for a while, for the longest time, and actually it's still the case, I'm typically the only person that owns models. So what I did when I backed the Kickstarter is I picked a few models from each faction and a few extra models from the factions that I favored. And so the way I play this now is when my friends and I play it, we play 3 gladiators per side. So to David's point, we play the minimum size game. We're typically playing like 3 to 4 players per game. So we get a good 3 to 4 player game done in the space of an hour or less. And yeah. So right now I'm just painting in the veins from the marbling. So that's how we've been playing it. Like 3 to 4 players. Everybody's got 3 models. A lot of the times it's just a demo game, but like for my friends that have played it several times, it just becomes kind of a filler game in between games of Guild Ball, Relic Knights, all that stuff. Minis look cool. I'd like to make an arena. Yeah, making arenas are cool. I got the vinyl mat that came with the Kickstarter, and let me tell you guys something. I hate vinyl mats. I hate vinyl mats. I will never, ever, ever spend a dime on a vinyl mat ever again. I think they're awful. I know some people really like vinyl mats. They're economical and whatnot. Nah, not me. I'm gonna pay for the neoprene. I'll pay premium prices for that. Neoprene or rubber. Felt, ugh. Not a big fan of felt. Unless it's got a rubber backing, then I'm kind of okay with it. But vinyl mats, ugh, man. Hate them. Hate them. Alright, so let's let that dry for a second. I'm going to apply a gloss to the marble. And that's what kind of makes this whole thing pop, is applying that gloss coat. If I can find it in my brand new, I'll just show you guys here. Here, let's just, whoop, whoa, there it is. See that? And there's all my paints. They're kind of, yeah. Where is the gloss coat? Was I using a satin or a gloss? I think I was using gloss. Yeah, this is gloss. Okay. There is a neoprene mat currently. Really? I think the one I got from the Kickstarter was a vinyl mat. And it looks cool. But I just, I hate vinyl mats. Really do. Hate vinyl mats. Alright, so I'm going to apply this gloss varnish to it. I don't want to use, I really don't want to add too much water to this. Just enough to get it to kind of flow out a little bit. I have the Kickstarter vinyl mat and some advanced deployment scenery to keep it transportable. Yeah, the advanced deployment, the 2D scenery, I think it's pretty cool for what it is. I mean, I agree, it's to keep it portable. So if they have a neoprene mat, I think I may get one. Do you know offhand how much they want for the neoprene mat? I'm gonna have to get back to selling stuff on eBay, dude. That's a big, yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to, because, with my wife gonna have a kid on the way, then she's not gonna be working for a couple of months, at least. And we gotta live off daddy's paycheck, which we can do that. It's just things are gonna get a little tight. So if I want extras, I'm gonna have to sell some stuff, and I'll probably be selling Guild Ball teams. So I'm gonna let that dry. You can see it doesn't really look like much right now. 45, I think. That's not bad. I mean, considering inked gaming mats are like $60. 45 is actually a pretty good price. I'll have a look. Anyway, let me show you guys a couple of the other models here I just had. I was trying to break out a couple for this. So here's, I forget the name of this guy. His spear is bending. That's the resin spear. But this guy is from the Brotherhood, or whatever they call them now. And you can see the marble I have on him it matches the dice. It matches that that dice. What's that message? Let's see what the message is. Oh, okay. David sent me a link to the map. Thank you. Let's see how much this costs. While I was at it, somebody else sent me a message. The arena map, $45. Okay. I think I'm gonna order one because I do think it's a great game. So, thank you for that. Thanks for sending that. So yeah, I don't even remember the guys' names anymore, but this guy fights for Brotherhood, and then I've got this dude here, who is like, oh, his arm just popped off. I'll have to fix that. He fights for. He's like kind of like a mercenary guy. You can throw him on anything. So he has a different. His base is a much different style, marbleized base. Let's glue that. Now I gotta repuncture the hole. That's always fun. Like when you put your glue away for a while, and you get that that build up there around the tip, and you gotta do this. Like you gotta take like an old airbrush needle, shove it down in there. Try to get the glue to come back out. There we go. And let's I think that guy, other guy's name was Sven, I think. I forget this guy's name. Just hold him for a little bit. The poses are fantastic in this game. The sculpts are phenomenal. The reason why I had these two guys out is I'm putting them in my everything case, right? So I have a genericized, I use a KR system for transporting my minis, and so I was like keeping all my main games in their own KR case. Like Wrath of Kings had its own KR case, Relic Knights has its own KR case, Guild Ball has its own KR case. But when you play like that, and you have an evening where people want to play 2 or 3 different miniatures games, it's just not very practical when you're hauling all this crap around. So what I decided to do instead was make myself a generalist KR case that's super optimized. So I have enough Arena Rex for 4 players in the case. I have 3 Guild Ball teams in there. I have 3 Relic Knights factions, but they're not the full factions. It's like 50 to 60 points of each faction. And then I have my Infinity Aleph in there. So it's like, on any given night, I can bring that 1 KR case and still get a reasonable game. Things start to get boring, you just switch game systems and you're good. So anyway, so that's, I'll let the gloss dry a little bit. I could go back in and apply a second coat of gloss. And then all I have to do now is just paint the black in, and this model is just about done. So the idea is, you know, when I do these live streams, that I won't always be painting now. That I can, you know, kind of like the one I did for Ninja All-Stars, that I can do that. But, you know, if there are people over, if there are guys over gaming with me, I'd ask them to help out with the broadcast a little bit. And so we would do, you know, basically what this channel says, you know, play it painted. We would be playing games and painting, and that's what you'd get. Man, built a lot of back pressure behind this nozzle. I think I got a clog. There we go. See if I can get product to come out now. Nope. Let's see if I can. Oh, wow. So I have a better storage system for my paints, but it doesn't seem to help me find them any faster. Because I haven't, like, what I should do is kind of optimize them by color range so that I can quickly find at least the right neighborhood or shade that I need to be in. There's some black. Ooh. Where'd my cat go? Yeah, Adam, if you do an arena, that'd be fantastic. Now, this game, one of the things it has in common with, say, Guild Ball, is that its designers were heavily influenced by War Machine. So it's a D6 system, and you know you can see, you know, I was calling the health hitboxes. The mechanics should vaguely remind you of that system, and what you get is you get a pretty tight, fun skirmish system out of it. Alright. I'm just going to paint in the base black. I like these beveled bases. I think they're nice. Like, that's why I don't like putting anything on. Like, I don't want to put sand or, you know, cork or anything on these bases. I just think the shape is really nice. It's a very, like, seems like a very formal way of presenting a miniature, and I wanted to kind of want to preserve that. So that's why I just paint marbleized bases. I even did the same on a few of the Kingdom Death minis that I painted, because I just love this style of base, and I feel like it's worthy of presentation, especially the high quality miniatures that often come with this style base. So there's him. And just come up here. Alright, I'll just let them dry a little bit. So what I typically do is, after I dull coat this model, Then I'll even come back again, hit the base with another coat of gloss varnish. Let's see. They're nice bases, although I do end up using a green stuff stamp on them. I could see that. Yeah. I don't know. All of my Arena Rex stuff, I base like that now, and now I just keep it that way. My cat knocking on the door here. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're trapped in a laundry bag? Come here. I hear my little boy still awake, and so I think what I'm going to do, guys, is, as cool as this is, I think I'm going to end the live stream because I want to help out Mom and put him to sleep. I can bring him down here. We can talk a little. Actually, let me do that. Hang on for a sec. You want me to take him? I'm pretty much done. Okay. Take him. You want to give Mommy a kiss? Mommy? It's okay, look. Alright. Okay. So we're still there.
And
Yeah.
painting.
Daddy was doing some painting.
Well,
Well, not yet, kiddo. Want to say hi to people? No?
no.
You want to see? This Ramsey's out there. Let's see. Okay. We're going to sit here.
Which paint I do need?
No.
I need a paint too.
We're not. We're done painting. This is what it be painted. Okay. You can look at him with your eyes, but don't look at him with your fingers, with your hands. Is he still drying? You like him?
Yeah.
His name is Sulla.
I like him.
You like him?
Yeah.
Cool.
But look at that guy.
You look at that guy. Yeah, I painted that guy a long time ago.
Hey, look at that guy.
Mm-hmm. There's another guy over there.
I painted him.
You did?
Yeah. What's my other paint? I paint with my paintbrush.
You painted with your paintbrush.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did.
Do you want to say hi to the people on the internet? Say hi.
I don't want to.
You don't want to?
No.
What do you want to do?
I'm but I'm gonna count those. There's,
You can count.
yeah. There's
Right.
red, black, pink,
Pink.
But what's that color?
This one here?
Yeah.
That one's called beige. Kind of beige, yeah.
And that's white.
Yeah.
And that's not black.
That's not black.
That's orange and that's red.
That's red.
Yeah.
Yeah. What color do you like?
I like red over there.
You like the red one?
Yeah.
I like this blue.
Yeah. And I like black.
You like black?
Yeah.
Yeah, black is a pretty cool color, huh?
But he's dark.
This guy's dark, yeah.
And black is dark too.
Yeah. They're saying hi to you on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. His name is David O'Connell. He says hi. Want to say hi, David?
No.
No. Are you sure?
I don't think so.
You don't say hi, David?
Can I help you?
What are you going to help me do?
Can I help you paint?
Well, we're done.
But I don't need to. It's not done yet.
It's done, bud.
But it's not done.
It's done.
But it's not.
What's left to do?
I'm gonna count those numbers. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9.
But that's 10.
It's 10.
Yeah, but that's 9.
Okay.
Look at those gaps. They're done.
Yeah.
But look at those two. But look at those two gaps.
Look at those. Why don't you go to sleep? It's late at night.
But there's something there.
What?
That's white.
That's white.
But what's that color?
This is actually clear. It makes it shiny.
But what's that color?
Yeah, it makes it shiny, like right there.
But what's that color?
This one?
That one.
This one?
No,
This
that one.
one? This one?
Yeah, but what color?
This gloss, it's shiny. It doesn't really have a color.
What kind of color is it?
Yeah, it's shiny. So, okay, folks, I think that's enough, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to say goodnight?
Good night.
Good night? Okay. If you guys have any comments, let me know in the comment. But, yeah, thanks for watching the new feed. Hopefully, please leave in any feedback you might have on the feed. Like, you know, if you want the different camera angles, or obviously I need to fix the lighting. The sound looks pretty good. I think the sound is pretty good. What about you? Do you have any comments, son?
Yeah.
What's your comment?
Comment is a thumbs up or something.
Thumbs up?
Yeah.
You gonna give it a thumbs up?
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate it. They say good night.
Good night.
All right. We're shutting it down. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
They're gonna take a sleep, and they're gonna rest.
They're gonna rest. Nice.